Hey, this is Derek Whatley. In this video, we're going to take a look at how you can troubleshoot a failed migration if you're using the OpenShift Migration Toolset to move apps between an OpenShift 3 and 4 cluster. In this case, I've got an OpenShift 3.11 cluster in my top tmux pane and an OpenShift 4.1 cluster in my bottom pane. I have the WebUI and the controller running on my OpenShift 4 cluster, and you saw it in the WebUI a moment ago that we had a failed migration. The first thing I'm going to do is check out the MIG migration CRs on the 4 cluster. We can see that if we describe that, we can see that the migration has failed and the initial backup failed is the reason for that. An initial backup occurs on a source cluster. So we're actually going to jump up to the top tmux pane where our initial backup has been executed. We're going to run Valero's CLI tool, and we're going to run Valero backup describe on that backup name that was provided, and we're going to check in the namespace OpenShift Migration. We can confirm here there's some basic information provided, not a whole lot, but we can see that the phase is failed on this migration. So we will go and we'll check a little deeper in the logs. So we can do Valero backup logs with the same name, and we can actually see that the error is no such key, and this was trying to contact the AWS S3 bucket that's used as migration scratch space for the backup. In this case, I am actually aware that there was an issue with the key and the secret key that I was providing earlier. So I'm just going to rerun the migration, and when I click this migrate button again, it'll run through the same steps. It'll try to create the same things, ensuring that the initial backup was created. And now we can see that it actually proceeded past the last step, and it's going to run all the way through the migration successfully. I'm going to let it go through here, and then we'll take a look at some other things that are created during the migration process if you're trying to examine where things may have gone wrong. So now this migration has completed, and we're going to hop back to the terminal, and we'll look at the backups once more inside of the OpenShift Migration namespace, which is where all of this stuff is going to get created. Each of these backups actually has a link back to the owning MIG migration resource. And I guess I should clarify here, the backups are Valero resources. And there's also the concept of a Valero restore. Both of these are custom resources provided by Valero that allow you to express a set of resources inside of a set of namespaces that you want to be backed up. So jumping into the OpenShift Migration namespace, we can look at the pods running here, and actually the Valero pod is a really rich source of information for debugging things when the migration has gone wrong. Any sort of invocation of the Valero logs command actually just sifts through this log file and picks up pieces of it relevant to the particular backup or restore that you've asked for. But you can just look at the raw logs as well and get the same information.